Okay, so welcome back. Today we're going to do a real quick project, C# Visual Studio Windows Forms, and it's what you see here, a small window that is a digital clock. And we're going to cover a bunch of things. Unfortunately with YouTube, people search for one particular small, how do I do X? And I've been an electrical engineer over 45 years. In the real world, that's not how life is. Life is generally a problem that's got a lot of different aspects that you need to cover and think about. And that's what we're going to do in this video. Most of my videos are that way, where we approach a large problem and look at a bunch of different aspects of the problem. Here we're going to develop this simple form, and there's quite a bit to it. Of course, we're going to have to do some date time stuff to figure out what the time is. We're going to have timers to update this. We're going to have labels. We're going to modify this form so that you can't resize it. Also, you see we've got this font here where we have the numbers. We had to go out and get a special font for free, and I did another video showing how to go out and find free fonts that you can download and how you can install them, so I encourage you to look at that. But there's quite a bit going on here, but again, it's a very simple project. We also have a couple labels here, one for the numbers and then a separate label that tells us whether it's AM and PM. So we're going to have to figure out how to code that and how to arrange it. So let's take a look at the code and see how we can implement this. So here is our project. Again, C# Visual Studio Windows Forms project. The main Form 1 has really got nothing. Basically, we enable a timer, and then we've got some label text, and we've got this timer tick event handler that updates the text on the labels. So let's take a look at the designer to show what we have for the form. Basically, we have this Form 1, and I've given it a name Digital Clock, but you can see there's no maximize and minimize buttons, and also we can't resize it. We've also got here, we've got a label, and if you look over here, it's label 1. We've got a second label, which is label 2, and both of them are inside a panel called Panel 1. And we did a detailed video recently on panels and group boxes, so I encourage you to look at that. First, let's take a look at this form to see how we can make it so it doesn't have minimize and maximize buttons, and also so we can't resize it. So if you select the form and go over here, we're going to scroll down to the property for the form that is the locked property. And if you select that, it says the locked property determines if we can move or resize the control. So if we set true, then we can't move or resize the control. So that's going to make it so that we can't resize this. Also, we need to have a form border style, indicates the appearance and behavior of the border and title bar of the form. We're going to set it as fixed dialog, and then we're going to go down to the size grip style. Here is size grip style, determines when the size grip will be displayed for the form. Since we don't want to resize it, we can say hide. We can select hide from the size grip style. And then to get rid of the minimize and maximize boxes, we go up to maximize box, set that defaults, and minimize box, set that defaults. So that's how we can configure the form itself so that it's pretty much static and all we can do is move it around but not change it. So now I've also added two labels and put them inside of a panel control. And you can see this label has a larger font, and we showed in another video how we can download free fonts and install them in Windows so they'll be available here. I've got a font called DS-Digital, we talked about in our other video, and I'm using italic, and I'm also setting its forecolor to yellow. And this is an 80-point font, and I've set the back color to black for this particular label. Now I've done the same thing for this label 2, but it is a 26-point DS-Digital yellow, and also the back color is black. And then I've got the panel, which is holding both of those controls, with a back color of black. So that's how we can configure this so that we can see the time and also AM or PM. Now I've also added the text to this label 1 that has the time, and I have set it up so that it defaults to a text of what you see here, 10:00:00, so hours, minutes, and seconds. But I've set it up like that so we can make sure the size of this label is going to be large enough so it doesn't go over the edge. Because if we didn't have all of these places, then as we're running it, it might expand and cover over this AM. So I've set the default time so that it's as large as it's going to be. When it gets up to 10 or 11 or 12, it's going to be this width of the box. And then I've placed the AM so it's just outside of that so it doesn't get overdone. So that's basically setting up the control. Now all we have to do is go into our main application and see how it runs. So we've got system.windows.forms. And again, we have timer 1 enabled equals true. What I've done is you can see I've drag and dropped a timer here. And I've set the interval to 1000 milliseconds or 1 second. So it's going to every second update this readout of the time. So I've got my timer 1 tick. And what I'm going to do in the main time label, label1.text, I'm going to use the date time now. And I'm going to say to local time to string. And the format's going to be hour, minutes, and seconds. And that's this main label right here. Now, in order to get the AM or PM in my label 2, it's going to be date time now to local time to string, and I'm going to use TT to get the AM or PM. So as soon as it changes, it will change that to AM and PM. So we'll start it up. So here is our application. You can see it's updating. It's got the AM, and it will change to PM. So that's about it for this one. If you're liking these videos, I encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notifications. But most of all, please let others know that we're here so we get some views. Really appreciate it. Otherwise, take care. Have a really good day. Thanks.